One of the many breaking stories we are following tonight is a curveball from Trump National Security Advisor Mike Flynn. Just as we got on the air tonight, General Flynn moved in court to withdraw his guilty plea. He pled guilty already 2 years ago and agreed to cooperate with prosecutors in exchange for lenience. But now tonight he says he wants to undo that plea, change his plea to not guilty, and I guess go on trial? Joining us now is Barbara McQuade, former U.S. Attorney. Barb, thanks for joining us on short notice. I appreciate you being here.
Oh, you bet. Glad to be with you, Rachel.
So how does this work? Flynn has confessed to multiple crimes already in sworn, signed statements as part of his earlier guilty plea. Is he saying that he wants to go on trial for those crimes?
Yeah, strangely enough, despite the fact that he was sworn in open court, agreed and admitted in detail what he did to make him guilty of these offenses, submitted a written statement of the offense. His lawyer says in this pleading that he is innocent. And so the remedy for withdrawing a plea is to go to trial.
Will the judge have to do this? Is it a foregone conclusion that the judge will grant a trial, or how much leeway does the judge have here in facing this kind of a motion?
The rules of criminal procedure say that to withdraw a guilty plea, the judge has to find that there is a fair and just reason to do so. I don't know that he will be convinced based on this pleading alone. He may want to have a hearing. But, last week, as you mentioned, we had that filing from the government that said it was Michael Flynn who breached the plea agreement. And so the government was no longer recommending substantial assistance, no longer recommending a reduction in his sentence, because he changed his story when they were preparing for the trial of Bijan Rafikian, and in fact, perhaps even seemed to sabotage that trial. And therefore, because he breached the plea agreement, they were not going to recommend leniency. And now his lawyer is saying, well, we didn't breach the plea agreement. You breached the plea agreement. I don't know how much weight that's going to carry with the judge. I think he will hear from the parties, but he has to find that there's a fair and just reason before he allows Michael Flynn out of his guilty plea.
So the judge isn't required to accept that Flynn is changing his plea. The judge could say, no, you said your piece on this, and we're going to leave it there.
Yeah, it's not enough that it's buyer's remorse. You have to find that there's a fair and just reason, that it is against, it would be a miscarriage of justice to allow this plea to go forward because either something has changed or new facts have emerged. The only thing that they allege here is that he didn't really make a false statement in his FARA application. Yes, it was false, but he didn't know it was false at the time. That really seems to contradict, if not the technical language of his statement of offense, certainly the gist and spirit of what he signed, what he agreed to, and what he admitted in open court. It has the feel of a clever lawyer looking for language after the fact to find some way to wiggle out of it.
Barbara McQuade, former U.S. Attorney. Thanks for jumping in here on short notice on this, Barb. I appreciate it.
You bet. My pleasure, Rachel.
Obviously, this attempt to withdraw Flynn's plea looks like a plea for a pardon from President Trump, but heads up, everybody.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.